What's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a crazy video for you right now. Watch this video before this gets deleted. They don't want this out there on the internet. We've compiled together some of the craziest speeches about their plan. And right now we're just getting some stuff done out here in beautiful Miami, Florida. So for you, paying attention to these markets right now, wondering what should you do to prepare? I'm gonna come back at the end of these clips and share with you what I'm doing to prepare, and also share with you some additional stuff that the Fed is working on right now with the Bank for International Settlements that is going to directly affect not only crypto, but the entire banking industry. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, comment 777 if you're feeling bullish. And if you're gonna become the first millionaire in your family tree, you know what to do. Confirm it in the comments below. Let's run it.
You know, we are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. One of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. Since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. I'm going to hush up.
On behalf of the American people, leaders and dignitaries of the European Union, representatives of our NATO alliance, and for the international order that we have worked for generations to build, this alternative vision argues that ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs, that order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign. Often, this alternative vision roots itself in the notion that by virtue of race or faith or ethnicity, some are inherently superior to others, and that individual identity must be defined by us versus them.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
Where nobody has been held to account for a country torn apart and a region plunged into chaos. And we have a responsibility to look back and ask, how did it all happen? Well, it happened because the people in power told us over and over things they knew were not true. It happened because a compliant media failed to ask the questions and parroted those lies day after day, beating the drum for a war of aggression dressed up as a battle of democracy against authoritarianism. So now, as another country is torn apart, another region turned into chaos, at this uniquely dangerous phase in world history, we see the same people again, baying for blood, not their own of course, seizing the moral high ground, condemning peace as appeasement, bellowing that the only option is escalation. Well, you really have to ask yourself the question, why in God's name would we believe these liars now? We need peace and we need it now.
Уже говорил, уже 2/3 товарооборота между нашими странами осуществляются в рублях и юанях. Мы за использование китайских юаней в расчетах между Российской Федерацией и странами Азии, Африки, Латинской Америки.
American families are being decimated by the worst inflation in half a century. Banks are failing, our currency is crashing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Wow, right? I know, it's crazy. A lot of information to take in, and there's a lot of truth being spread out there, and there's a lot more videos that we're gonna be sharing on this channel as the truth gets exposed. That last guy that you listened to was the head of the Bank for International Settlements, which is basically the central bank of central banks. And when you think of how the banking structure works in the banking pyramid, right? At the bottom, you got the smaller regional banks, then you have the commercial banks, and then you got the central bank, right? The Federal Reserve is the central bank of the United States, right? And then it's not federal. A lot of people say they don't have reserves, you know, because everything they have is backed off debt, and they basically have the unlimited money printer. Well, the key with that is every country has their own banking pyramid. Then you have the central banks of other countries. And then at the middle of the banking pyramid, or the top of the banking pyramid, you have the Bank for International Settlements, right? And this guy, right, is the head of that. So with him saying that their goal is to have full control, and they will have the distributed ledger technology to implement that, that is alarming, and it's also very awakening at the same time for yourself, because they want to be able to track every transaction, right? Cash, fiat currency, physical money was an experimental money program, and it can't last for much longer than 100 years, right? The global reserve currency status lasts roughly every 75 to 100 years. It doesn't go much longer than that. So you don't see a global reserve currency lasting for 200, 300, 500 years. The only thing that's lasted longer than that as an actual currency has been precious metals, you know, gold and silver, whereas money is always shifting. Money is not one thing specifically. Money is a means of interacting with each other. And so as we shift from what's happening right now, as we're shifting from cash to digital currencies on distributed ledger technology, well, obviously what they want is their central banking digital currencies. Now, when you have, you know, the CBDC for the Fed in the United States, then you have the CBDC over in China, then the CBDC over in Europe, then a CBDC in Australia, and a CBDC in Canada, how do those connect together? Well, it's called Project Icebreaker is what he was talking about. And Project Icebreaker is connecting all of those CBDCs together so they can communicate with each other to send money overseas through what? Distributed ledger technology. So when you look at a company like Ripple with XRP and their distributed ledger technology being the top in the crypto space, right? The top technology for what essentially all of this is designed for, that's what's causing a lot of cryptocurrency investors to believe that XRP is that bridge currency and Ripple is that company. Now, to confirm or deny that, right, there's a lot of beliefs out there, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm here to spread facts on what's actually happening. You know, I personally do hold some XRP. Again, not financial advice. Don't go out there and buy XRP. Don't go out there and, you know, put any money into crypto for that matter, because, you know, their goal to squash crypto, they don't want crypto. The Fed doesn't want crypto. You know, the government of the United States doesn't want crypto. The reason why is because it puts the hands in the power of the people. And like Obama just said, you know, the main belief that's been out there is that people are too small-minded to think for themselves. So they need to surrender their rights, right? Which is why the amendments, you know, they've been ushering in plans to basically take away, you know, your freedom of speech. You know, they've been canceling people. You know, Tucker Carlson, gone, right? Andrew Tate, thrown in jail. You know, you see people that are speaking out about certain things, and then they get canceled for that. And it's a cancel culture, and it's just the way that it is. And so that's the way things are moving. So for you, in order to prepare yourself, you know, so you can have that freedom for yourself and for your family as we go into this scary world, it's also a bright future when you have a plan.
What do you need to do? Because if the Fed isn't going to live within their means, if they're not going to default, if they're going to tax the rich more, if you want to become rich and you commented 777 because you're become the first millionaire and they plan on taxing you more, what do you do to legally minimize your taxes, make more money, and prepare yourself when the dollar collapses so you can have more XRP, so you can have more Bitcoin, have more Ethereum, have more Shiba Inu, have more Solana, more Cardano, whatever you want, and have more productive assets? Well, number one, you need to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video all over social media so we can help more people understand what's going on so they can prepare. Because here's what I'm personally doing to prepare. And again, take this or leave it. This is not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor if they are a multimillionaire. This is what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do that helped me become a millionaire before 30. Number one, you got to think of money like manure, right? If you pile it up in one place, it stinks and it rots. But if you spread it around, everything grows. I'm investing into assets that will either produce passive income or hold value in times of inflation or hyperinflation. And that's where crypto, that's where gold, that's where silver, that's where international real estate comes into play as other countries expand and more people want to move overseas, let alone hire employees overseas. But in order for you to do that, you can't just rely on the income from your job to invest, because the rise of artificial intelligence is replacing workers in industries like healthcare, finance, manufacturing, transportation, retail, education. The list goes on and on and on. You are increasing your risk every single day of being laid off. The days that go by where you don't focus on building a business on the side. And as always, you know what we're doing. We're backing up our truck all the way to the bank. We're grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going down in value. That's the truth based on inflation and what the Federal Reserve is doing. FedNow is not going to fix that. The CBDC system that they're planning on ushering in is not going to fix that. So in order to fix that, you have to take it into your own hands, because together we're all going camping on the beaches of the moon, and Bull Runners Club is going up. So I will see you on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.